Hey, everybody, I'm Bryan Fenley. Welcome to the Onto Something podcast. Appreciate you checking out this channel. And for those who are used to this channel, you know that I love to have those who work in sports media to share their stories in an in-depth setting like this. And as one of the sports that I do call tennis, I also love to have athletes, professional athletes on to share their respective stories. Speaking of tennis, I've got a pro tennis player coming on with me right now. Ryan Seggerman played his college tennis at both Princeton and North Carolina. He's coming off a challenger doubles title earlier this month at Indian Wells. We're going to get into his story, get to understand his mentality, the competitive fire, the chemistry that he has built with his said doubles teammate, and what the grind is like circumnavigating the world and chasing this dream. All of that to come. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You will be very grateful that you did. Enough of me blabbering. Let's get to the conversation. Here is my chat with Ryan. Well, traditionally, when you think about Indian Wells, you're thinking about the BNP Paribas Open. But right now, in the month of January, it is home for the rising stars of tomorrow. And I'm talking to one of them right now. And I have a feeling even before, and Ryan Seggerman is with me, I'm Bryan Fenley. Even before we start this conversation, Ryan, the fact is that we are both from San Diego. So even before we begin, I already know it's going to be a good time because we're going to vibe. I'm really excited to have you on. Thanks so much for being a part of this.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't know we were both San Diegans, but obviously, birds of a feather. So always good to meet another San Diegan, and yeah, like you said, the we'll understand each other.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely will know a thing or two about just tennis and just about the love of the sport through how much San Diego is invested in the sport of tennis. And here you are, you're coming off a doubles title at the Indian Wells, the Challenger Part 1. Obviously, next week there is or this week, I should say, there is the second part of this tournament. It's a 2-week event. Each week is its own tournament. You just won the doubles title with Patrick Turhach. How does that validate the run that you two guys are on and why you work so well together on the double circuit?
Yeah, obviously the last week went about as good as it could have for us to start the new year and start I guess after a couple months off where we weren't playing any competitive matches and stuff, just to pick up kind of right where we left off is exactly what we wanted. I think that was our 13th week together of playing, so we're familiar with each other. We haven't played any tournaments, with other partners in that time. We've been good about, I think, just building week after week on our routines together. Our partnership, camaraderie, everything, and I think it's showing. Where yeah, playing here in Indian Wells is really special, obviously, and so to be able to kind of culminate, I feel like in the finals we played our best match and stuff, and to get the hoist the trophy in the end was a pretty ideal start.
Having you two together for 13 weeks, what have you learned about each other going into this next week? All of those weeks together that you didn't know about each other when you first started playing with one another, that's unrelated to tennis, just learning about something else unrelated to tennis with one another with all of the weeks of playing together.
Um, I don't mean every week. It's funny because he's from San Diego, as well. So we've known each other for a long time. Since we were probably about 9 or 10. And I always like to tell this story just because I think it's funny that when we were young, we were 10, 11, we did not get along at all. And so, like we weren't friends. We like actively disliked each other, I think.
Interesting.
So, it's funny now, like, looking back at how far we've come, just not even as a doubles team, but just as friends, because for whatever years, we didn't talk at all and stuff, and no one would have, neither of us would have ever seen ourselves pairing up, and so we didn't know each other really at all when we started this whole journey together, and we teamed up at the first couple SoCal Pro Series, in Lakewood. And it's funny, then we're kind of just tiptoeing a little bit, I think, just getting to know each other. And after that, obviously, after 2 good weeks, we made the decision to go hit the road and go to South Haven, Mississippi for a 25K, and then go straight from there to Tunisia for 4 weeks. And so every kind of day, I guess we're getting a little more comfortable with each other and stuff. But it's fun. He's, like I said, San Diego guy. We get along well, and we spend a lot of time. So We just, I don't know, like to, go out. We get meals and stuff. I'm always, I guess, always new things. He's a funny guy. Like I said, he's Slovakian. He's got his ways about him and stuff. But going week after week, it's like I said, we just, even on court, off the court, you get a little bit more in tune with what they like to do and how to I guess move more in sync. And yeah, that's been good for us.
If you've looked at the first week you were together, like say at Lakewood, and then coming off last weekend at Indian Wells, and let's say you both are watching the first match together, analyzing it within one another or amongst one another, and then analyzing what you did this past weekend. What are you going to see different about, as you said, the way in which you gel out there on the court now? The little things that maybe the casual fan wouldn't see that both of you notice with all of that experience now.
Yeah, obviously, there's a lot that has stayed the same. Being two taller guys. Our game plan going into each match is pretty simple. But as far as being a team and stuff, I think that first match, especially, or the first week, it almost we had obviously high hopes and high expectations for ourselves, just believing that we could be a good doubles team. But there was a lot more like nervous energy, I think, just that we wanted to kind of prove ourselves, maybe prove to the other person, prove ourselves as a team. And week after week, I think kind of with the results, we had, some lucky breaks, some 10-pointers go our way early on, and kind of that momentum built. And winning those matches kind of helped it become a habit that in the big moments, we play with a lot of trust in each other. And so to play, three back-to-back 10-pointers this week after, like I said, yeah, 2 months of not playing together, there was almost times where we had a little bit of that nervous energy again, feeling like we needed to prove ourselves and, prove that we were still capable of, winning those matches. But um, I think once we got going again, you kind of start to see that confidence in each other build and pick up right where we left off. Just because, yeah, it's fun, but every doubles match feels like a coin toss, and so to be able to have come out on the winning end of as many as we have at this point is good. And I think it's a testament, like I said, to our belief in each other and our game plan. And yeah, we've made it a point, every kind of week to try and improve on little things. We watch back our matches, we watch opponents, we try to pick up on what we're gonna do, or what we're gonna try to focus on. So when we started out, there was a lot of polishing that we needed to do as a team and as individuals, and we've made a point on the practice court or in matches to try and hone in on those things, and keep working towards being at a grand slam level or whatever. When we go out, we want to be great. We want to be at our best. And obviously you rarely meet that standard, but going out with those kind of intentions, I think match after match you get closer and closer.
Well, in looking at what you've done match after match, you guys are getting closer and closer. So they haven't updated the rankings with the ITF and all of that from a doubles perspective. But before this week, you guys, or you personally, Ryan, were 217 in the world. That's only going to improve as you continue to play the way you've been playing. And then obviously not even accounting for this doubles title this past weekend. But as this partnership continues, what is stopping you guys from getting into a grand slam at one point, and what do you think you still need to work on to be at that level, because it doesn't seem to me too far away?
Yeah, I mean, we it is exciting, to be looking at the rest of the year, knowing that, for a long time we don't have points to defend. And even still, by the time we get there, hopefully we'll have, bigger tournaments that have replaced those points. So it's been good, kind of just building or climbing the ladder, of the ranks and stuff, and kind of looking into the future. But yeah, we're gonna, we're waiting at the chance to get to play in one of those bigger tournaments and stuff, obviously. um we spent, I think eight weeks at the futures level, or maybe seven, I think, before we even got a crack at challengers, and that's where we first lost in Charleston. Then we played one more future before we made the decision to go to Australia to get to play a couple challengers. And so as we keep looking forward, for ATP events and grand slams, there's it's just exciting for us. We feel like the sky's the limit, as far as what we can do together. I think, like I said, a lot of belief in ourselves as players, and the other as a partner, and as what we need to complement winning doubles, winning tennis. But Yeah, I'm getting back to what was the main point of the question. Um,
Oh, just how close you
but
guys are. I mean, because it doesn't seem that far from you all getting that opportunity to be
yeah,
at that
yeah.
Grand Slam type of
No,
level.
it's a goal for us, obviously, to get to play in the U.S. Open this year. That's it's enough time away where I think it is realistic. You still have to get I think top 75 or so. I think around where the cutoff is, and we want to get there. We've seen other guys do it. A friend of ours, Reese Stalder, he's in the last year or two, he's moved up the rankings really fast, and he's been a good kind of, I guess, mentor of sorts. When we look at his career path, or have shot questions to him just about like how to organize a schedule and these sort of things, he's been great. Just kind of to see how he's done it. And there's a couple other guys, these German guys, Franson and Jevons, who've done very well in the last year and moved up the rankings. And so when we look at guys like that, there's always you see guys at the top level of tennis and doubles, and we see things obviously all over the place that they do that we could try to match. Guys, the way that they return, the way they move at net, even we're good servers, but we can be better. And so when we watch our matches and stuff, or when we watch other people, doubles is it like I said, it can be a coin toss at times, but you want to try and control what you can pretty well. So as far as like first serves and trying to make as many returns as possible, stuff like that, getting the point started, you want to give yourself as many opportunities as you can to get up in the point. And so we're constantly looking to improve on that stuff. But the good thing is we've had some results, some positive results, even when even when we've been a little off on some of those things. We've had bad serving days, or we've had days where one of us can't really find the court too well with returns, and fortunately most of the time the other one has been able to pick up the slack, or we found a way to make it work. So yeah, we're gonna keep trying to do win as much as we can, and when the opportunities present themselves, we will try to capitalize on them for sure.
Well, the big serves that both of you have, obviously in doubles, the shorter the point, the bigger the serve. That's all going to help in towards your chances of winning, and obviously that's showing out. In calling a couple of your matches from a singles perspective, how does your outlook on the serve change based upon what you're looking to do in singles and how to use that weapon to its best, for you, and then how you can use that weapon in giving yourself and your team the best chance to win in doubles?
Yeah, it's fine. I guess I don't want to give too much of my strategy away on
Oh
court and
yeah, we
stuff.
don't
No,
want to
like,
do that.
no, it's
Yeah.
funny. I don't. It's funny because I'm gonna say. I was like thinking the first thing I'm gonna say is like, I have a certain like thought process on my serve, but yeah, it is different in the singles court. I I seldom go for a body serve. I like to play for aces. I like to play for ending the points right there. And on the doubles court, I think the second serve is so much more costly. Like if you're missing a lot of first serves and you're giving the returners looks at seconds, it affects what my partner's able to do at the net. It affects the type of ball a little bit more that I'm going to see. In the singles court, you kind of have to build the point a few more steps ahead. So as much as I'd like to get the free point with a good serve, a second serve I can still think about. If I can hit a good kick, I can get around, use my forehand or slice, drop shot, whatever. Do that. But on the doubles court, I'm a lot more focused on getting pat a first volley. So I don't. Ideally, they miss it, but I'm thinking a lot more about. I'm planning on them making the return, and I'm thinking about how are we going to position ourselves, so he gets the first touch, so we can, get up in the point early. So I'll use the body serve a lot more. I'll try to just figure out where if I serve a certain spot, where they're most likely to go, and we try to cover those kind of places. But yeah, it definitely is different, just because the returning, from a second serve standpoint, it feels so much more critical. One break in doubles, um, feels, especially no ad, like the set can get away from you so quickly.
How do you, and you using the word quickly, that's helped, in a big way, your doubles ranking quickly has been improving. But then how do you weigh your love of singles too? And so where are you in that juggling act as to, hey, we're riding something really cool in doubles right now, and we don't want to lose sight of that and where we can go. But I would think there still has to be a little bit of an itch to want to satisfy in singles what you want to do too.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, like you said, the doubles it's been great, and there's there's nothing really that could tear me away from it right now, just with what we're doing. Like I said, the goal is to make the US Open and get to play in some of those kind of events. They seem so within reach now that I wouldn't want to do anything to slow it down, or to slow down what Pat and I have been building on. But there's definitely, I love singles. I'm a competitor, and I love to get the chance to prove myself out on the tennis court. And I was fortunate last week to be able to get a wild card into the main draw and get to play in the second round against a great accomplished, player, Marco Trungaletti. And I played a pretty good match and played him tough. I ended up losing 7-6 in the third, but that's, another one that kind of shows me that I'm maybe not as far as I think, although I've had, the success in doubles recently. I consider myself, obviously a doubles specialist, and usually have. I find a lot of enjoyment, probably more on the doubles court, just with the camaraderie of having a partner out there. But singles, like I think I've surprised myself, and I've proved to myself that I can hang at a higher level than I thought possible. Maybe when I finished college and stuff, with some good results just in Tunisia or at the challenger level. I have inspired some belief that I could have a pretty good singles career if I work hard at it, or if I devoted the time and energy and making a schedule around it. But with where we're at, I'm singles isn't my priority. It feels a little bit like when I get to play singles, I kind of just enjoy it for what it is. It feels like I'm playing a little bit with house's money, like I'm
Yeah.
not. It's like, I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best to win, but I don't see myself right now, yeah, trying to play catch up with my singles career. Just knowing, with, like I said, the belief that I have in Pat and I as doubles partners, and for where I think the doubles career can go. The singles one, it probably would take a little too much uh blind hope, I guess, to try and think that it could get to the same level.
And why change anything right now when you got a really good thing going? You said a camaraderie with you and Pat, and I notice obviously in college tennis in the United States, there's a lot of camaraderie. It's a fun thing. You go to a match, guys are supporting each other. It gets loud, it gets boisterous, it gets competitive, and it's very much like a brotherhood, as you would be the first to know, and have you've experienced firsthand being once a college player in the United States. That camaraderie at the college level, how does that help you in being a pro in doubles and having that experience of I just see so there is something to be said about that brotherhood in American men's tennis as a team, and then that translating to the doubles format in the pros. Where do you see that one is helping the other?
Yeah, certainly. I think the guys that are a product of the American college system, I think, especially that we've seen at the futures level, and I guess you hit the challenger, it's evident in the doubles game more than anything. A
Yeah.
lot of the singles guys you see, from Europe, South America, wherever, they might take a more, they turn pro at a younger age and stuff, and they're very focused on the singles. And on the doubles court, they play well, but it's a different kind of style of doubles. And so, they're sitting back a little bit more. They're hitting the felt off the ball, but they're not quite as, eager to poach or to take the middle to get to net. So yeah, for us, like, we're both very, very grateful to have been able to come through, some good programs. Obviously, Princeton and North Carolina for myself, I learned a ton there and had an absolute blast. And Pat, he went to junior college and then Idaho State and then Utah. But ultimately it worked out where we both came out on the other end feeling very confident in ourselves as tennis players, but mainly, more specifically, probably doubles. You just get so much focus, on a weekly basis on doubles, given that the doubles point is what it is. You get one set, but it's very important. So knowing that you're going to be playing a few sets of doubles every single week, the coaches and stuff, there's a lot of time and energy spent on that and getting better. And so for us, yeah, it's good because we both did well in college, at the doubles, I guess, more so than singles. But it wasn't like we were blowing the roof off, the doubles scene in the NCAA. So to be able to have our results come now, I guess, where it's, I guess, more impactful for us. Like, I would have loved to have played my best tennis for Princeton and for North Carolina, but for whatever reason, the college atmosphere, especially probably in singles, like, I just never was able to as much as I wanted to, I never really played my best tennis in it. I think just the no ad in the singles, or
Yeah.
maybe just, what it is, all the atmosphere of school, going on a weekly basis, academics, all these things, and then you got matches and all this chaos. I unfortunately, like I said, I always kick myself that I wish I could have done better for those programs and won more matches like I thought I was capable of. But to have it becoming have those results coming now is pretty sweet, just to prove to myself that I was capable of what I thought I could do. And so, yeah, for Pat and I to have come through and now to be playing, I think what we would consider our best tennis, and seeing those results is it's very satisfying.
It definitely is, and I love how you broke that down, because I would think, living in your headspace, or at least being a top flight college tennis player in the United States, and then looking at what's next, that there might be this pressure of, I have to hit a certain age and be in my prime at that certain age. But as we're seeing, and like, guys are playing longer, and just because you had a whatever you thought of a career in college, that doesn't mean that's where your prime's going to be. Your prime is going to be coming as you get older, into your 20s and your late 20s and even to your 30s. And so, as you've seen, as you're starting to see the best version of yourself as a tennis player, and I don't even think you're not even at your prime right now, but you're working towards that. The fact that it's coming a little bit later, is there at all amongst peers, amongst young 20-year-olds, to feel like they have to hit a prime at a certain level, or else they don't feel like they can continue on? How do you deal with that, and being okay with saying, hey, it's not happening in my early 20s, or at least in college, and that's okay?
Yes, I think exactly what you just said. It's very difficult. I think when you see other guys, like Ben Sheltons of the world, some of these guys who just they come and you get that sort of instant gratification, those instant results, and those kind of stories. Everyone wants that for themselves, but everyone's path is different. And so, even though, like I said, I always had this belief that I could play at a really high level on the tennis court, and I had this belief that when I went to college that I could light it up and do what these other guys were doing. Um, it was important, I think, just to know that, even if the results weren't always there, the work that I was putting in was going towards something. And is, like I said, everyone kind of handles the college atmosphere differently. Some guys really thrive on it and it's able to bring out their best tennis. Like I said, Ben Shelton spends, what was it, 2 years at Florida and barely loses a match. He's playing unbelievable tennis, and it's a no-brainer for him to go pro. And other guys, you have ups and downs, but you still kind of believe, like you see it at times, or you just feel like, I can still, like, there's more that I have to give to tennis. And I think it's important not to get discouraged or not lose confidence in yourself as a player in those times where, it's a little bit at the valleys, I guess, of your level. So, yeah, I just think just sticking the course, and I'm glad that at least the results for myself, some in a little bit in singles, but obviously more so in doubles, did come quickly, because I think it's easy, yeah, like you said, to get discouraged quickly if you've spent years in college where you feel like you're not quite reaching your potential, and then you get out of it, and maybe it's still taking a little bit of time. It's important, I guess, to you have to be realistic about things, and I would have too if we had started out, and I spent, at this point, if I still wasn't making much progress and I was losing belief in myself, losing love for the sport, then I think I would definitely take a hard look in the mirror at what I want for my future and what I believe I can do. But since I've kind of started to achieve what I've always thought I'm capable of, it's just encouraged me more to keep going and to try and strive for reaching the highest level.
And that, getting to that highest level, that you said it, but patience is hard. And for
Yeah.
you to be able to see the virtue in it, how satisfying is that, to know that, as hard as that can be, when everybody is, gunning and striving for the same thing, but to feel like, just because it's not happening now doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a double-edged thing, double-edged, because on one hand you say, like, don't lose belief, like, it can happen to anyone and it can happen at any time. You don't want to give up on a dream. But on the other end, there's no guarantees with this, and so being on the road, being all this, it's tough, and you always, might see a light at the end of the tunnel, but there's no guarantees about it. And even for us now, we've had this success, but we understand that, this stuff it's futile. It can go at any moment. We could start losing matches, lose confidence in each other, and this could be the highest ranking we ever achieve. So I think, you have to take it like day by day, but keep working towards a goal. And I think the smaller goals, I guess, is what kind of is the bigger thing for myself or for us. It's just looking at it, a couple weeks at a time, knowing that we are still building, because you don't, you want to get to a certain point eventually, but you want to, I guess, as well, meet little milestones along the way, just to be able to keep yourself accountable for saying, like, this isn't like crazy for me to be thinking about it, because obviously, like I said, the fact we went to college, we have degrees that we could fall back on, and there's other good options. Like anyone, finishing college, they have to look at two things. Do they love tennis? They might have that belief, but there's probably a good job and a guaranteed salary waiting for them somewhere else. So you have to, I guess, at all times kind of be thinking about the pros and cons of pursuing such a dream, and what you're willing to give up. So for us right now, things look good enough, like I said, that we're going to keep going, but nothing in this career is guaranteed, I guess. So we're just, yeah, enjoying it day by day, and taking it while we can.
I want to leave you with this one last question. Ryan Seggerman is with me. I'm Bryan Fenley. You mentioned all the travel, being on the road together. There have been a lot of eye-opening stories about singles players working themselves maybe to get from inside the top 1000 to top 500, 400. They work their way down, and a lot of time, or work their way up, excuse me, and a lot of them travel by themselves, and to places they've never been, to cities in other countries where it can be lonely. But to be able to travel with Pat in doubles and have somebody with you, even if you don't know anybody else wherever you're going international, like you said, you're playing all over the world in all these continents. To have somebody by your side traveling, how much do you notice that benefits you just from a source of morale standpoint when you get to said event and you're playing on the court with that person?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I've actually been thinking about that a lot recently. Just about kind of what it would look like if I was, playing with a different partner every week, or if I was doing all this kind of and doing it by myself, like kind of on the fly, kind of going week to week, without any sort of continuity. And I came to the conclusion I probably would have been driven insane by now. So I'm very, very grateful to have had, a partner who's committed to, like, working towards the same goal, and that's kind of stable partnership that we've been able to, yeah, build on, I guess, yeah, as a team, as friends and stuff. Because I mean, salute to anyone who's, able to go by themselves all over the world and this and that. I mean, I was like, I'm thinking about all the times, we've been in airports, or, anything, just even getting meals just with another guy. You kind of take it for granted, but a lot of these guys, they don't have teams with it. Like, we don't have a team, obviously, we have each other, but that's fortunately that's enough. But a lot of guys going by themselves, and going all over the world, you meet new people, and there's a lot of new experiences, but it's a lot better, I think, just to have, someone else to be able to experience it with, or just talk about the highs and lows with.
Yes.
Like, like I said, we've lost luggage, on multiple occasions on the way to places. We go to Tunisia, we lose luggage. We go to Australia, we lose our luggage. So we're doing these things, and, like, you can laugh about it and stuff, but it's a whole lot harder to think about how you're going to get through it when you don't, when it's all in your head, when your own head. Just being able to go, at these hotels, we get breakfast at the certain times, or after matches, we want to go check out a city or something. It just wouldn't be the same to go do it by yourself. And you could ask other people and stuff, but it's nice to have someone, I guess, that you don't have to ask. You just, who you're gonna get meals with. You know what you're gonna do. You don't have to, like, always be thinking about putting yourself out there, reaching out to someone to try and, have that source of camaraderie, or, like, just friendship on the road. I mean, you can, there's great people all over, but it is nice to just have someone that, is like, is like I said, a source of continuity.
And see, as we wrap up this conversation, I think that is priceless in the expansion that your career is seeing right now. to have that person, I don't think there are words to describe, like, just from the outside perspective, looking at what you guys are doing right now, how helpful that is, just from the source of going to new places, being able to rely on one another for support, whether that's on the court, whether that's off the court, the emotional support, having somebody there. I can't even put into words and imagine just how uplifting that has to be.
Yeah, it
And
feels like a marriage, honestly.
yes,
I
it
like
does.
the way I talk about it. It almost like it's like a marriage. The way people during the off season were asking, like, "Are you and Pat gonna keep playing this year?" And it was like, at this point, yeah, we're hitched. We're until the wheels fall off right now. We're not. I don't think we're going anywhere. So for better or for worse, like we're at hotel rooms right now. We're at the Best Western Plus here in Indian Wells. And in a few weeks, I don't even know where we'll be. We might be in India or somewhere else. The schedule can take you all over, but we're doing it together. So it definitely it's a calming thing to know that I won't have to be going through these culture shocks and all these like kind of, I guess, just new experiences by myself.
It's a tennis marriage that has been fruitful with results. More to come. Excited to see what the rest of this year has for you. And of course, you've got the second week coming up here of Indian Wells too. For Ryan Seggerman, I'm Bryan Fenley. Ryan, thanks so much, man. This was so fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. Well, I said second week here. First one was good, and it's going to be 5 times as hard to have the second one be as good. But we're excited to try.